Hello wonderful people, it's Wild here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to build a super cozy winter cabin. This charming little build makes for a great addition to any snowy biome. With only a small footprint, this build is surprisingly spacious with 3 floors to decorate. And since it uses survival-friendly materials, not only is this a beautiful build, but it would make for a great starter base too. Don't forget you can access a world download for this and all my other builds over on Patreon. The materials you'll need for this build are on your screen now. Keep in mind that when you're building, it's always useful to have a couple extra of each supply on hand. Here is the outline for our winter cabin. You can see the main shape of the build marked in there with the white and light grey concrete, and then in the concrete powder we have our locations for chimneys and posts. We're going to start by digging down 3 blocks all the way around this edge and the gap in between. So 1, 2, 3, and then I'll continue digging out this hole. Now that we've got a hole like this, which is 3 blocks deep, I'm going to start by taking cobblestone and going around the edge like this. We're going to be filling in this layer with our flooring material, and I'm going to be using some stripped oak logs. This gives the look of some wide floorboards, and I like to change direction as we get to this section of the build just to add a little bit more definition to the space. Our floor is in now. We're going to take some oak logs and I'm going to come to each corner of this room and build up 3 high. I'm also going to add an extra post here and here. So there's a 3 block gap and then a 5 block gap. And I'm going to fill in these walls 2 blocks high, so finishing at ground level with a mixture of cobblestone and mossy cobblestone, as well as some andesite. And we're just creating a rough texture here, giving the build a nice worn-in look. Next, I'm going to take some spruce planks, and where we have chimneys like this, I'm going to place some blocks behind there. I'm then going to take some spruce stairs and we're going to go around the rest of this outline, just making sure that they're facing out. I'm next going to add a barrel on top of each of the posts. And then for these front 2, we're going to add 4 more oak logs. 1, 2, 3, 4. And for the rest, we're going to add 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like this. I'm going to take some stripped spruce logs now and we're going to connect all of these posts up. Now that we've got this sorted, let's add in our way to get down to our basement level. I'm using some barrels and I'm going to build up 3 blocks like this. Then I'm going to add a beam of oak logs across here and across here. And while I'm down here, let's add in a few torches. There we go. Now this is where the ladder is going to go, so I'll leave a temporary block here and fill in the rest of the floor with some oak slabs. I'm filling in this large section as well as that smaller section over there. I'm going to go ahead and add in 3 more barrels going up like this. I can remove this temporary block now and I'm adding a beam going across the top of these barrels. Then I can add a ladder going all the way from the bottom right up to the top. There we go. Next, we're marking in our windows and door. For the doorway, we're coming to this section here and marking in a 2-high gap. At the front, we're going to have a 2-high window in the center. We've got a 1-high window opposite the door. While we're back here by the chimney, I'm going to find the center and build up to the same height as the posts with some cobblestone. Coming around to the back, we've got another 1-high window and another one here, so it should be centered above these 3 stairs. And I'm also going to grab some cobble and place them 2 blocks out like this. Coming around to this side, we're going to have another window which is 2 high, and I need to fix that beam up. There we go. Then I'm going to count 2 blocks up, 1, 2, and add a window on top of that. Just like this. I can now take some spruce planks and I'm going to fill in these walls up to the height of the posts. So around this section, we're building up 5 high, like that. And then on this front section, we'll just build up 4 high. I'm also going to place in some planks along here, and then I can continue filling in my walls. Now we've got these walls and we need to add in the gables. Let's start in this small gable first. We're just going to be adding in 4 blocks here to create a point. Now let's move over to this side where we have our chimney. So we're going to be creating a point in just the same way, but I'm going to make sure that this section here continues to be just cobble. So we'll end up with a point like this. And around to the other side, we're just going to create a point, this time making sure we leave that gap there for the window. It's almost time to add on the roof, but before we do that, let's add in our chimneys. I'm going to come around to this chimney first. Let's start off by building a 3x3 square at the base out of cobblestone. Then I'm going to build a little L shape at the front, and I'm going to go in with a stair here and a wall over here. I'm going to add an extra block here, and I'm going to add a stair coming forward to create a curve like this. I'm also going to place a stair here and a stair here like that. Then going on top, I'm going to place a block in here and a couple of stairs. This one's curved around. I'm going to add another stair on top of here now, and then we're going to go in with some blocks. I'm going to build up 6 high with my cobblestone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just like this. And then I'm going to count up 2 blocks, 1, 2, and on the 3rd block I'll add in a cobblestone wall, and then I'm going to add in a stair facing this way beside it like that. Coming to the side now, I'm going to add in a cobblestone block here, and I'm going to add in a couple more here. So we're going to build up 2 high. Then I'm going to go in with a couple of stairs like this, and we're going to have a few more blocks on top like that. Then coming this way, we've got a couple more, and we're going to have a stair facing this way as well to create this kind of curved shape. On top of here, we're going to have 1 block and 3 blocks on this side, and we have 3 locations now to place our campfires. And I'll surround all of the visible sides here with some spruce trapdoors. So let's take a step back and have a look at this chimney. Now there's some sections missing like here where we're going to be having the roof, but as long as it tapers up like this, it'll look fantastic. On to the next chimney, and as with this one, if yours isn't exactly the same as mine, that's totally okay. We're going to start by placing a cobble here and a cobble here. We're also going to place a stair coming forward and a stair upside down beside that. I'm going to add in 2 more blocks coming out from here, and we're going to place some stairs in a curved shape like this, as well as a stair here. And coming to the side, we're going to add in just a couple walls. We're going to have 2 more stairs curved up like that. And then for the final layer, before we move up to the roof section, we'll add in a block, a wall, and a stair over on this side. So the base will look like this. For the roof section, we're just going to take some cobblestone and build up 4 high on this block here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to add my campfire on top and surround with some trapdoors. And I'm going to take some walls, leaving a gap here. I'm going to place in 2. We're ready to get started on this roof now. I'm going to begin by placing 2 oak logs from the very point of each of these gables. Like this. Now we're going to create a darker edge going all the way around the roof, so let's start on that. On this lower roof, it's sitting at this level here, so I'm going out with my stairs. Then I'm going to zigzag my way up to the top. There we go, and we'll do the other side. So we're starting at the same point and working out. And for the larger roof, we're starting up a little bit higher. So our first block is going to go here. And again, let's make our way up with a zigzag. I'm just going to come straight underneath this chimney and go all the way along. And again, we're having a 1 block overhang. So we've reached the top within this chimney, so we're going to leave that block out and we'll come back down the other side. And you can see that this stair is going to sit atop this one and line up with the other side of the build. Now for the very points of this roof, I'm going to work on this one first. I'm going to add in 2 blocks on either side. Then we're going to have a slab and we're going to alternate between slabs and dark oak trapdoors. We should finish with a slab on the other side, creating a kind of zigzag like this. For the smaller section of the roof, we're going to add in a block, then a stair, and then we'll jump in with a trapdoor, a slab, a trapdoor, and 1 more slab. The rest of this roof is getting filled in with snow, so let's start with our snow blocks. We're just following the shape created by these gables. Making sure that there's no holes when we join our 2 shaped gables there. There's this side done, and over to this side, and we're just working around the chimneys here. Once we've got all these base snow blocks in, I'm going to go in with some snow and add a little bit of dimension to this roof. So it might look something like this. Let's add a little bit more over on this side, as well as on top of these points. And don't forget about the front of the build too. Let's add some snow here. Our roof is looking wonderfully snowy now. Before we add on some details to the exterior of this build, I'm going to go ahead and remove all of these temporary blocks. I'm then going to head inside the build and we're going to create a few fireplaces, starting over here. For this fireplace, I'm simply going to add a cobble block on either side, then we've got a couple of stairs and a slab, and then a stair above that. And we'll be using a campfire so we don't light our house on fire. Now over here, we're going to have a simpler version. So we just have one side of the fireplace here, like this. Now we need to add on the walls for this top section. So we're going to have our logs come across like this. That's 1 block below the top. And then I'm going to fill in the floor using some oak slabs. Making sure we've got this gap here for our ladder. And I'm going to fill in 1 extra block of spruce planks here to make that wall complete. There we go, that's all filled in, and we're going to add one more fireplace just here. There we go, that's super cozy. Don't forget to add some torches while you're building. I think I might add one above here, and with the fireplace that should be plenty of light. And coming down here, I'm going to add one on either side of this post, as well as the doorway in here. Heading back outside now to work on some decorations, we're going to start with these windows. I'm going to be using white stained glass in all of the windows as it has a real frosty look. Now for all of the decorations, we're going to start with a slab with 2 oak trapdoors on either side. Then we're going to create an arch with an oak slab at the top and then oak stairs on either side of that. And we'll use spruce trapdoors to create some window shutters. Last but not least for the decoration, we need to add a pot. So around on these 2 high windows, we're going to do just the same thing, but we need to make it 2 high. So we'll have an extra trapdoor on either side, but we'll still create an archway with the stairs and add in our pot. So let's go ahead and add these to all of our windows. The only window that has something different is this window up here, so just leave that one clear for now. I've got all these window decorations in, so for this last window we're going to add an oak slab above and below, we'll place in our flower pot, and then we've got a spruce trapdoor on either side, creating a nice little frame like this. Next we're going to add in this little balcony to walk up to our door. I'm going to start by building up 2 high with my oak logs, and you can see they're spaced 1 apart and set 1 back from the edge of this wall. And we've got 3 of these posts. I'm also going to add a strip spruce log atop of each of those, and a spruce slab on top of that. There we go. Then I'm going to add in some stairs at this level here, connecting them up. And we're going to come around this side and make a staircase, placing our first stair here, coming inside and placing another here, then one here, and finally another one there. And I'm going to add in one more stair upside down here to continue on the pattern from the other side. The rest of this space here is going to be filled in with some spruce slabs. There we go. Now we need to connect up this railing. For this we're going to be using hanging oak signs. I'm also going to grab some spruce trapdoors, and these are going on these oak blocks and around this side too. And I'm going to add one on either side of this staircase. And then once I've placed my hanging oak sign in here, I'm going to add one more to this edge, just like that. I'm also going to go in with some oak buttons. For the covered section over this entryway, we're going to be using campfires, and I'm starting by placing 3 coming out this way. Then I'll rotate round and place 3 along this way, then rotate again. And you can see how this is changing the texture of the logs that are visible. Once I've placed in 4 rows, I'm going to use a shovel to put all of these fires out. There we are. And I'm going to grab some oak fences, and we're just going to add a little post which will connect up to this sign. I've also got some pots. We're going to add a pot here, and we're going to come up our staircase and add one in here. While we're down here, let's add some decoration to the door. I'm just using a regular spruce door, and I'm creating a small oak archway. Let's come outside for this stair. There we go. And coming back in here, I'm using some brown carpet as a doormat. Let's also add a couple lanterns. I'm going to hang one here and one above this walkway. And then coming out, I'm going to hang some from each of these gables. I'm hanging these at various heights. Oops, placed in a sign there. Instead, we need a lantern around on this side as well. This one I think I'll hang down too, so that way it isn't directly in front of this window. And we're also going to go in with a few signs. Now these are going to go at the top and just above these barrels. So on these taller posts, there's going to be a 2-block gap. Obviously I can't place one here, but I'm going to place one at the top. Then when we come to these front 2 shorter posts, there'll just be a 1-block gap. There we are. The details are really coming along now, and while we're at it, let's add in a small wood cover on this side of the build. I'm starting by adding in 3 dark oak slabs beside this chimney, and you can see that they're level with the top section of this trapdoor. Then we're going to have another set of 4 layer down, and then I'm going to use some sort of temporary block. I'm just going to grab a bale of hay here and add in 4 more. Like this. I'm going to come to this side and add in a couple of fences coming down to the ground. And then to decorate, I'm going to hang a lantern. Then we've got some hay bales up here like this, and let's add 1 more over here. And then I'm going to use some campfires, placing them on here and using a shovel to put them out, and they look like little piles of wood. So here we go, let's have a look at the finishing details. You can see that I've added some bushes around the base of the build. This really helps to ground it, and the greenery at the base helps break up the wonderful earthy tones of this build. I've also created some snowdrifts around the base and on top of these bushes. And when it came to decorating, I've created some small piles of snow. You can see I've also focused these around some of my exterior decor, like this little campfire setup, and over here at my little table seating. For the pathway, I've just simply used gravel. The simple design works well with this cozy little build. And of course, I've lit up the pathway with some fences and lanterns. Back here you can see I've created a small pen with some horses and some other animals, and I've created this in a similar style to the woodshed on the opposite side of our cabin. For this build, throughout the build itself and all of my decor, I've stuck to neutral colours, and that really means that this cabin feels at home here in a snowy forest. Now, of course, considering this is a snowy cabin with a snowy roof, you want to be in a cold biome. But if you're building it somewhere that's not snowy, you could easily substitute these snowy blocks for another kind of block. It would look great in oak, for example. So now you have a super cozy winter cabin. If you enjoyed today's video, I'd really appreciate it if you consider liking and subscribing, and check out my Patreon if you'd like to support me further. See you in another video!